I'd like to welcome Lisa Bailey from Barclays Eagle Labs tonight, who is our event sponsor for the year for Lean in Belfast. We're going to have the use of this wonderful location moving forward, which is great, thank you. Lisa's going to say a few words for us and then we'll move on to the agenda. Thanks.
Okay guys, can you hear me all right? Everyone hear me? Yeah? So anyway, thanks to Noah and the Lean In team for having the event here tonight. You're all very welcome, especially on that awful weather outside. What I'm going to do is, Lisa is going to say, I work for Barclays Eagle Labs here based in Belfast. For those of you who've never been here before, you're probably thinking, what the heck is an Eagle Lab? So I work for Barclays Bank basically, and we have opened 15 Eagle Labs across the UK. So the Eagle Lab here in Normal Baths, we partnered, so we're one of the main sponsors with Normal Baths, and we partnered with them back in June last year, and we only opened up with maybe about 2 companies. So over the summer it was very, very quiet. Now we've got over 50 companies based here full time. So it's been growing. So just quickly, I'll just tell you a little bit about ourselves. So the 3 pillars that we focus on is accelerating UK business, digital empowerment and collaborative innovation. So for UK business, we would help gain traction through people for businesses so that they can gain support and grow their business basically. We also run a lot of digital events and we're very, very keen on digital empowerment. So the likes of here, we hold events like this and we're really keen to get into the network and to let people know that Barclays are doing the likes of this. So we will have lots of different events here, going from anyone coming in who want to stay safe online, send a tweet, right up to people coming in for coding sessions and different things like that. So we're really open to any events for community-based or business-based that you're wanting to hold. We're welcome for to have them here in the Eagle Lab. And then by doing all that, obviously, grows collaborative innovation. By coming in here, we offer a big range of networks. So we've got access to some of the big entrepreneurs in Belfast, and we also bring lots over from the likes of London, California, San Francisco, things like that. So that also helps business if they want to grow or they need advice or need funding. We would have access to angels and different things like that. Mentorships, again, with different mentors come. So just quickly on Friday, we had Jamie Coleman from Codebase in Edinburgh come across, and he looks after one of the biggest tech companies or tech incubators in the UK. So he was here and he done one-to-one mentoring sessions with some of the businesses. We also had a fireside chat, and he's going to come across every month to help businesses grow, basically, and with any information that they need. The space here, as you can see yourself, anyone that came through has been here before. We've got about 150 desk space, so that can range from hot desking up to 40 hours a month to permanent desk space. So if the offer that Barclays have is, if you're a business and you open a business account with Barclays, we will give you 3 months access free to the hot desking area downstairs, which usually would cost you £99 a month through all of that. So lots of people take that and say, I have my own office or whatever, but because it opens up the doors to such a big network of people coming through here, and it's not just the businesses, it's the likes of yourselves coming in here tonight, you know, you get to meet people. So that's it, really, that's what we're all about. I'm going to be about here all night, so if anyone wants a tour around or you want more information, just give me a shout. Right?
I think I'll just use the microphone. So tonight is our first event of 2018. It has taken us a bit of time to get here, folks, and for that we are sorry. But after last year and the resounding success and celebration at the end of the year, everybody needed a little bit of time to lean out. We did that. We also looked at all of the feedback we got from our survey, and we've put together our plan of action for 2018. To give you an overview of the running order tonight, we will be running through our highlights to date. It's really important that you get to meet the leadership team to see the people who are behind Leader in Belfast. It's not just me, there's a whole host of merry women and men who are supporting the journey. I want to talk a little bit about the global campaign, which is Mentor Her. After November, there was a lot in the press about Me Too, Time's Up, and Lean In has reacted directly with this with their global campaign Mentor Her. So I want to touch on what that is, the key principles, and how we can start having that conversation in the workplace. We'll briefly go over what the Lean In vision for 2018 is, and then the really exciting piece is that we're going to have a panel. There's no better way for everyone here to learn and share and reapply than to hear from people who are actually doing it. Instead of being spoken to, they're going to share their experiences and give you the opportunity to maybe ask questions about, maybe you're thinking about starting a circle, maybe you want to join a circle, maybe you're in an organisation, you want to roll out the programme. We're going to have a demo of how to actually do it, which is very simple, but we're going to walk through it together because that's worked in previous events. And then we'll close and it's over to you to start networking. So some of the key highlights, it's worth reflecting that we are, on the community side, we have over 1,400 members across the board. Some of the feedback from the survey was that maybe the perception would be that we're maybe more focused on one industry. That's probably because a lot of our leaders are from the tech industry or marketing industry or in entrepreneurship. But it's really important to know that we are across the board. All walks of life can join us. All walks of life can start a circle. The core principle is that we empower each other to achieve our ambitions, whatever they are. We've got our focus for 2018 is to be a leader and to build your circle. Simple. We're going to help you on that journey together. We've also got a new LinkedIn page. We've become very professional, so I encourage you all to like it, follow it, send us your news on where you are in your journey, and we can share that across our own networks. And also from the foundation in San Francisco, we have a new regional leader on the island of Ireland, Victoria, who was appointed the regional leader by the foundation there at the start of the year, which is due to and testament to the hard work and energy and effort Victoria puts into the Women in Technology Lean In Circle. So congratulations, Victoria. Round of applause. And then very briefly, I just wanted to say our focus for 2018, I'll touch on it a little bit later, is very much on the community. Growing the community, growing the circles, growing the chapter. And from the corporate partnership point of view, we're still in love with Allstate NI, don't worry, but they've also progressed and been promoted to a different status, and I'd like to welcome Louise up here to tell us a little bit more about that, to give you an idea of what it actually can happen if you're a corporate organisation or a large organisation that wants to roll Lean In circles out across your organisation. So, a lot of organisations there. Louise, do you want to come up and tell us about Allstate?
Hello, folks. How are you guys? All doing well? Yeah? I'm still shaking. It doesn't matter how many times you do this, you still shake the second you stand up. So, I am absolutely delighted to be here. Some of you may not know me. You were expecting Angela up here. Angela sends her apologies. She is currently sunning herself in Portugal. and I'm not jealous one bit. But look, just to reiterate what Noah has said, 2017 was such a landmark year. It was a landmark year for Lean In, it was a landmark year for Allstate, and together, my goodness, didn't we achieve a lot. So we are delighted that our corporate partnership is going to continue into 2018 and hopefully beyond. But we produced the Altogether NI programme last year, and I hope that some of you would have benefited from that, that you have taken learnings, that you've extended those learnings out through the circles, out through your networks, etc., etc. And hopefully we have some newbies sitting in the seats here as well, waiting to take our 2018 journey together with us. So you'll remember such sessions such as learning to lean in, building and knowing your strengths, and the personal favourite of mine, which was the unconscious bias. I think we've all learnt a lot from that just this year alone. So Allstate have been advancing the diversity and inclusion since inception. It's a company that landmarks itself on that. And as Northern Ireland's largest IT company, Allstate and Arity, and you can come and ask me or anyone else about that next. We actively challenge and excel in equality across all levels of our global organisation. And I use the word excel in parentheses because we have such a long way still to go. So one of the areas that we have focused on and we continue to focus on is the Women in Technology group within Allstate. And it's a global initiative. We work with schools, we work tirelessly within the diversity training of our employees, LGBT communities, Embrace, All Care, and even through spontaneous delights such as sports and social. And we boast one of the highest maternity return rates in the UK. So above all, as an organisation, we pride ourselves in doing the right thing, and every day we challenge and empower ourselves to do so. That is in keeping with everything that Lean In has to offer. And we are a company that is so proud to be partnered with Lean In because it shares the same values as we do. One of the things that we want to look at, and that's really the struggle today. It's very current, it's very challenging, and that's just making sure that we bring our authentic selves to work, and making sure that we push ourselves forward, and that we keep ourselves authentic. And we do that through partnerships with Lean In that keep us all on the run, keeps our heads from pushing our abilities beyond what we can achieve, but also challenging that as well to make sure that we do continue to push ourselves, just not push ourselves to breaking point. So, in the present day within the technology industry, we're still witnessing a huge imbalance in the male-to-female employee ratio, where female representation decreases as the level of seniority increases. And where we have seen a decline of females entering the technology field, this is something that I'm passionately committed, and that we are passionately committed to addressing and changing. I'm proud to work for such a company that has and supports such initiatives like Lean In. We do that, and we have targets that we need to achieve in order to address the gender imbalance at the top of the level. However, we still boast one of the highest rates and above average rates within Allstate at 27% female within the company. So, that's just a wee bit about us. I'm going to stop talking now. We had such a successful year in 2017. How do we trump that? How do we look at that? Within Allstate, we are committed to promoting our Lean In circles, and we are committed to 4 areas that we will be looking at addressing, one of which is the promotion and benefits of Lean In circles internally as well as externally. We're looking at also hoping to partner with Nuala on the Mentor Her programme, empowering our company and hopefully extending that outside our doors within Lean In. Internally we are creating and developing a programme which is tailor-made for female leadership and fast-tracking through that programme within Allstate. And the other side of the coin is the inspirational value. So that's looking at our guests, inviting leaders within the business and technology, both male and female, to come and speak, inspire and impart knowledges and experiences, which we're hoping all of you will be able to benefit from as well. So we're now in, as Mila says, we're now well into 2018. It's a new year, a new programme. We're delighted to announce we're going to continue. Allstate plan to host 3 events this year in connection with Lean In and under the Allstate Together NI, Be a Leader, Lean In Belfast, Allstate Araby. I could keep going, but we'll stop. So we're going to expand on the successes that we had in 2017. We're going to look at some of the programmes that we ran and take that to the next level. Through the 4 areas that we looked at within circles, within mentoring, within developing female leaderships and that fast track and that inspirational talks, bringing externals and internal people just to share that experience. So yes, we have deliberately delayed our start because, as well, some of you may not be aware, we have the shiny new building beside the train station that is currently a stone's throw away. Well, if one of those stones is in the wall, we're nearly there, but it's getting there slowly but surely. So we plan to do our first session in May, in May's Meadow, which is the new building, and hopefully we'll come have a wee look, even if it's only just to be nosy about the new building. Please come join us, and there'll be more to hear about that coming up. All right.
Thanks so much, Louise, and very exciting things to happen for 2018 as a corporate partner of the foundation. Which now then, getting back to the community side and what we're all planning to do, it's really timely that I talk about who the Lean In leadership team is at the moment. The chair of the committee is Lisa Strutt, who was marking you all in at registration. Hi, Lisa. And Gail Alexander, who is over here in the corner, who's looking after all the web, we call her the web mistress. And comms and your newsletters that you get. So if you have stories, share them with Gail so she can then amplify them and share them amongst the network. We've got Sinead Sharkey-Stingson, who is looking after all of our programming for 2018 and was the co-curator along with Lisa for the All Together NI Leadership Programme last year. And Angela Byrne, who is the corporate partner, who was excused this evening. And then we have this white box. So we are actively looking for new volunteers to join us this year. Whether you want to develop new skills, whether you want to impart some of your experience, it doesn't matter. We want your energy and drive to come onto the leadership team. We need to eat our own dog food. We need to be diverse in the recruitment of our members. We need to be diverse in the communities that we represent, and we want to include more people. So put your hand up, lean in, connect with any of us after tonight and let us know how and in which capacity you'd like to get involved. We do have a few requirements, which would be maybe a minimum term of 6 months. We meet every other month. We do have a Facebook chat that can get a little bit lively, let's just say, at different times of the day and night, but it's always good for us to keep the communication going. We're all very busy people. We're leaning in our day jobs, so we're doing the best that we can, and it'd be great just to recognise sometimes that we are a volunteer network and self-organised. So do get in touch if you want to get involved, and this brings me on to mentor her. The room goes a little bit sombre. One of the roles of Lean In is to be that voice for the challenges that women face in the workplace, in society, and I do feel very privileged to be able to have these difficult conversations on behalf of women in work. Mentor Her is a campaign that is after the Harvey Weinstein, Me Too, Time's Up. Stories that we've been hearing about sexual harassment in the workforce. It happens every single day, it happens in many different guises. And Lean In did some research with SurveyMonkey, and the key findings are really astounding. The biggest one that shocks me is that because of Me Too and Time's Up, that men are 3.5 times less likely to mentor women. That's just how it is. And so although we have few men in the audience tonight, this is our opportunity to start realising, first and foremost, there is an issue, understanding the data behind that issue, and using that as a way to start the conversation, the way we did with Lean In 3.5, 4 years ago, gender equality, gender inequality. Nobody wanted really to talk to us, but slowly but surely, through respectful conversations, informed research and data points, we've been able to bring that conversation forward. And there's some top tips that you may think yourselves or you may not, but these are the ones that Lean In recommend we pass on. Committing to equal access. That was something that was so grounded in what I wanted to try and achieve for Lean In and women in Northern Ireland, the access to networks, because that is a very difficult thing for women. Be it on the golf course, be it on business dinners, whatever. Men are afraid to be alone with women in these scenarios now. 3.5 times more. So why not reframe them? Reframe what that looks like, be it a breakfast meeting, being more inclusive at different times of the day. Advocate for a woman. Again, you have to let men understand how they can advocate for you. It's really important that women mentor women as well, by the way. We're not saying that isn't important, but with the majority of senior leaders across the industries being men, it's important that they learn how they can mentor us in a safe and secure environment for both parties. And then give actionable feedback. Ask for feedback of your male mentor. Tell them what you want to receive and help them do that in a format that works for both of you. And back to the community and what we're all about here tonight. It's all about being a leader and building your circle. Very simple, giving everybody access to the information, the tools, and the energy to be able to do that. And this brings us on to the very exciting part, which is the panel discussion of those who have started circles, grown their circles, thinking about starting them, and people who are mentors for them, who want to be mentors in their organisations. I want to hand over to Rachel, who is a new committee member. Rachel, come on. To run this session. And Rachel's actually leaning in herself because she just joined the committee and has already found herself moderating the panel tonight. So let's all give her a round of applause just for that.
So do the rest of the panellists want to come up and... So, as Mel said, this is not only my first Lean In event, but it is the first time that I have moderated a panel. So you'll have to bear with me. My name is Rachel Davis. I am co-founder of a tech company in Belfast called Hurry. And I basically joined Lean In because I sort of felt that, as Mila has already said, it's difficult getting that networking and things like that, and co-founding a company is kind of tough in itself, so I know a bit about it, so just thought it would be good to give back to people, and if anyone had any questions or anything, I might have the answer, or someone else might have the answers to a few questions that I might have. So at this stage I will pass over to these guys and they can just give a wee intro to themselves and then we'll get on with the panel.
Hello, I'm Sinead Sharkey Stevenson, which I know is a massive gobful. It just demonstrates my indecision on picking a name. My business is Generation Women, and a lot of you know me from delivering the programme last year. Basically, I'm a career strategist for women, and I support businesses in helping them build diversity and inclusion.
My name is Victoria McCallum. I currently work as an IT contractor, working as a technical project manager at SAP, and I run the Women in Tech Lean Circle.
Hi, I'm Siobhan Holland. I'm Assistant Analyst in Allstate. I've been a member of Lean In for a couple of years, but last year I set up 3 small, very informal groups for support.
I hate the creeping death. It's coming to you. My name is Nadine Campbell. I kind of recognise a few faces in the room, which is great because I've been a huge advocate from Lean In from the very start, having been involved with Nuala, sitting in a coffee shop wondering whenever there was only like 5 of us, what are we doing, you know? So to see it grow is fantastic, and I just kind of advocate if anybody does want to be part of the leadership, do it. I have been there myself, taking a step back. So currently had a fundraising at Age&I, and I also have East Belfast Circle. So if you're from East Belfast and want to come, then please do join us, and we'll talk about what we do.
How many men are there in the room? I'm Aaron Gibson, CEO and co-founder of Hurry, so I have the privilege of listening to Rachel every day. So I know that she's probably got a bit of nerves, so be kind, please, because I'll have to listen to it for the rest of the week if you're not. Rachel would probably be my closest sort of advisor, and somebody that I lean on every day. Want to get that in there? And Rachel's entire marketing team is made up of women, and I wouldn't say that I mentor Rachel, but we are like a family in the way that we structure our entire business, and I think that for tech startups that's an easy way to be. I think it's just about getting most companies to think that it's not just, mentorship isn't just a way of, we're going to be corporate, we're just going to have this strategy meeting and we're not going to get anything out of it. I think it's a lot more to do with, let's go out for lunch, let's go out for breakfast, let's just have a conversation and see, even outside business, how I can help you develop as a person. So I'm more than happy to be here tonight. I'm really excited to listen to all of these fine ladies and obviously Rachel's questions, so thank you.
This is going to be interesting. We're going to do a bit of a pass-through with this mic here. So, first question. Right, from your experiences, what is the benefit of the Lean-In Circles? So we've heard a lot about Lean-In Circles tonight. So what is the benefit and why did you guys start them?
So I started a Lean-In Circle for female entrepreneurs, and there's a few of them here this evening, so good to see you. The benefit I'd seen from being involved in the wider Belfast Lean-In was just how much support you get. So it was support that helped me start my own business, and when I started it I realised I don't really have any friends in businesses, so I'm going to start my own circle and make some new friends, and that was really why I started it. But what's happened is it's different from any other business network I'm involved in, certainly from the general Lean-In perspective, but also for us female entrepreneurs, because it's not about us coming in trying to sell stuff to each other, which I personally hate. So it's about really being supportive of each other and having a place you can go where you just come in and bring your issue. And we have had some really unbelievable issues come to the circles, but also amazing support that's followed from that. And the way women, sorry guys, but the way women band together and really help each other.
And yeah, like I said, it's just incredibly empowering, and it's just good to meet people who you can share. Because I can go home and share with my housemates, but they don't understand what I'm talking about when I talk about the tech things. So it's just been a great way of meeting people with a similar outlook and supporting each other and bigging each other up to move forward.
Well, I set up the groups last year, but they're very small informal groups. There may be 8 or 9 in each group, and it's there as peer support, and we're benefiting from each other. And it's a range of different, we've got very senior managers down to entry-level graduates, and they're all in the same groups. You're learning from each other, you're getting the experience of others. But it's also about educating ourselves, We do obviously have a fantastic partnership with Leader, and we've had all these workshops and a great program led by Sinead in the company. So we had, that was a great plus. But we needed that networking, quality and peer support within the company. So we maybe chat over a cup of tea or watch TED Talks or just chat about issues. But I think everybody is growing confidence from that, and they're realising that they need to own their own career and step forward, and networking is fantastic. Benefit from it all.
I suppose I would add to that too. My circle isn't necessarily based on anything other than location, so it's open to anybody who happens to be from East Belfast or wider. We won't discriminate against wherever just from. But I suppose that was also a challenge in itself for us, because we weren't entrepreneurs, we weren't from the tech sector, we weren't within an organisation. So one of the things that we had sat down and discussed last year was looking at, right, what do we as a circle want to overcome? So whether that's, one girl came back from maternity, she wanted to do some extra kind of training outside of work, but was having to kind of have that struggle with her husband in terms of, look, I want to have time out to do training, but equally I want to go back to work part-time. My boss is expecting me to work full-time hours. So we had loads of kind of different issues that everybody wanted to, talk about, which was great, but equally it was like, look, we've only got a certain amount of time here. We can sit in Cafe Near and Ballahackamore until next year. We probably might not have solved it. So for us, I would say the learning that I've taken from having a circle is to sit down and be mindful and reflect on what it is that you want to achieve together, and set yourself action, set yourself homework, and come back to the group and kind of reflect on what it is that you've done. If you've watched a TED talk about it, how did that, what did you take from it? And then together you almost move forward together, because when I looked at the actions that we'd set ourselves last year at our first meeting this year, it was great to kind of turn around and say to each other, do you remember you said that you struggled with that, but you've actually got that promotion? Or do you remember that you weren't sure about doing that training course, and now you've actually done it, and you've excelled in it, and you've moved on, and you've changed your careers, or whatever it is. So I think for me, the circle, it's like we all say, it's peer-to-peer support, but it's more than that. For me, it's a safe environment to speak about whatever challenges I'm facing within my, whether that's my career, not necessarily personal life because I'm quite private, but necessarily in that kind of space. So I would encourage anybody today to go and think about it, or just join one of ours and we'll help you.
Siobhan, I think you made a really good point there. The fact that the circles are actually bringing together all levels of business, I think that's very, very important, and kind of leads me on to my next question, which is, how has business changed for women within the last 5 years, and what changes do you guys see happening within the next 5 years? And I'm going to give volunteer to start.
Sorry, going to be a moany Mary. So I'm going to specifically talk about tech. So what has changed in the past 5 years for women? Not much. The numbers aren't improving greatly. We've still got very few women going into the industry. We've still got very few women at the top. What's going to happen over the next 5 years? Probably the same, to be honest. A lot of companies are now obviously talking about this. It's very in vogue, in fashion. A number of companies, so like SAP, who I'm currently working for, they have, they're aiming to make the workforce 30% by 2020 of women. I'm not sure I think this is a particularly realistic expectation, because there is a pipeline problem. The number of women, so in the UK, the number of women who are going to study computer science has remained the same for the last number of years. So the percentage has come down because there are now more boys going into it, but the women numbers are staying the same. Because it's sort of around the whole piece, diversity and inclusion. It's sort of getting people in, it's keeping the ones that are there, and helping to promote the ones that are in there. So I hope there will be some change, obviously, in the next 5 years. But for tech particularly, I think it needs a much wider, more coordinated approach, and it's not something that we can fix as easily as perhaps other industries.
Can I just ask a quick question on that?
Obviously, the experience up here will know more about this than I do. Is there any industry that has been able to overcome that problem? Like, I imagine that tech is probably one that's going in the right direction, even if it is baby steps. But is there any industry that tech could take as an example to sort of almost model itself on?
I'll take that in the sense of I work within the charity sector, and you tend to find there's a lot more females in the charity sector. Have we figured it out? I would say no. But because what you find is that yes, there's more females in director level, but not necessarily in Northern Ireland. You know, in Northern Ireland, I tend to see that in the charity sector, yes, we're all getting to a certain level, but if you look at chief executive level, look at director level, it's still still men at the top. So as a sector, yes, there's more females in that sector, certainly. I mean, it's great, you know, you don't recruit just because somebody's a man, but it's nice to like have that when you're in an organisation and you get another man recruited in. It's like, yeah, you know, giving a different dimension to the kind of conversation. But I don't think we have it worked out, certainly not. But you know, you'll find that a lot of the panel have worked along with men, you know, like Men's Main, all that there. I haven't come across a lot of that because I've worked within the charity sector, but what I have come across is probably, and I'm probably going to talk about this, Rachel, is women not supporting women.
Okay.
So I would see a lot more of that rather than perhaps anything else that you guys have seen.
Well, kind of not necessarily answering your question, but in more to the tech, that's obviously that's where I'm from. There is an issue with trying to get kids into IT, and we are trying to address it. I mean, there is, but it's, as you say, getting them concerted effort across Northern Ireland. But it's also about getting senior managers, getting senior level, getting VPs, directors. It's about empowering the women. And I think there has been a move over the last 5 years just to own in your career that you have to take, you know, you have to get building confidence and supporting each other to move up the ladder. And I can just see in the next 5 years we just continue with that. There has not been a big change in 5 years, but we can just keep trying and pushing.
I think there are a few sectors that have probably gone further. Maybe Dorcas could speak for law. I know she's in here. Is one area where there's a lot more presence of women, finance maybe. But I think with them all, still once you get to the top, it's the same. And I think that's down to the fact that there's very little flexibility. There's a culture of being present continuously in the office, working ridiculous hours, and a lot less focus perhaps on the quality of the work you do. So I think for the next 5 years, certainly we need to see a massive change in how we approach working in terms of flexibility, in terms of support, and in terms of parenting, because we don't make babies on our own, and we can't be expected to look after them on our own. So it means massive shifts, and companies need to make those shifts. And what I'm seeing in our circle is that there's a lot more women going into starting their own businesses to give them that flexibility. And while that is a great thing, it's not right that it's a get out for companies. So.
I think you kind of just touched on what the next question was, and it is, what are the most critical changes that we need to make for women in their careers to help them move up? What can we change?
I just have my soapbox.
Critical changes that we need to make to help people move up.
Okay, so I'll two briefly. One is the parenting thing. So I am a childless woman and hope I will forever be. But I think this is a huge thing because my brother is a parent, is a devoted father, and he cannot spend as much time with his children as he would like because of the legislation, because of company policies. And this affects him as a father, but it also affects me as a childless woman because when I go and interview, people see me and they see maternity risk, even though I'm not one. So that is one of the big things I think that needs to change and will help equality, and not just changing the legislation, but enforcing it, encouraging your male employees to take it, because there are some companies in Belfast that have changed to shared parental leave, as legislation has, but men are not actively encouraged to take it, or when they ask for it. And the second thing, because I said there was two. Oh, so the other big challenge is this is Maloney Mary coming in again, apologies, is the jumping on the bandwagon. Like I said, it's all very in fashion at the moment, and all very in vogue to do this whole women in tech thing, women's equality, but there's hard work. It's hard work, and it's conflict resolution, which is hard, and nobody usually wants to do that. So it's very easy to say, we have some women's empowerment initiative, and we are looking to do this, but that requires a lot of hard work behind it, and I think that is one of the key issues, is the hard work, not just big mouthpiece.
Yeah, I think you're totally right about that. There's a bit of a culture of trying to fix women at the minute, and let them start the little lean-in circles, and that'll all be good. They'll sort it out for themselves, when really it is a cultural transformation, and it's a total mindset shift. So it's not just men that need to make that mindset shift, it's us as women. We've all been brought up in the same society where things are unequal, and we all think in that way to differing extents, but we do. So there's a big shift that needs to happen. And I think then, the stats that Nuala shared there about Mentor Her are really shocking. And I think the big focus needs to be on how we just have conversations about these. I sounded really Northern Irish there. Conversations about how we deal with this stuff. So, because we can't let things go the other way, that, it's all out in the open and now nobody can talk to each other. Now it has to be about how we keep that conversation going, and everybody can feel more comfortable and respectful and inclusive.
Yeah, I'll just add to that. I'll tell you a funny story. I'm originally from Fermanagh, don't judge me. And I was down home about 2 weekends ago, and I was babysitting my niece, and she's 7 going on 90, but we were doing something in the house and it required a bit of DIY, and she just said to me, Auntie Nadine, what are you doing? Like, that's a man's job. And I was standing there, and I am, 37-year-old woman telling my niece, no, it's not a man's job. Why do you think that's a man's job? And she's like, because that's what Daddy does. And I was like, no, hold on. And obviously my brother was within earshot and didn't say anything at the time. Let me have my moment, let me have my soapbox. And then later on we went out for Sunday lunch with my mum. It was her birthday, and my brother was like, yeah, Nadine, I just heard you blather on about your women's circle thing, with my 7-year-old daughter. And part of me thought, like, that's my niece, she's 7. What role model does she have other than princesses, castles, anything like that? And I just thought to myself, yes, there's critical changes that need to happen in the workplace, but there's also critical changes that I myself, I'm a childless person, but, there are critical changes that we can make within our own, and how you tell stories to your nieces, your nephews, everything that we can do, not necessarily the onus is on the employer, it's something that you can do yourself. And it's just finding access to those resources, that instead of buying my niece now books about, princesses stuff, I buy her stuff about Moana, I buy her stuff that are empowering her and telling her not to be afraid. And probably talking to her about things that she just sat there and thought, why are you going off on one? I was just talking about having to use a screwdriver. But there's those simple changes that we ourselves can change, and that is culture, as well as obviously having access to different resources that aren't traditional in that respect.
You sort of touched on it there, and Nuala has already touched on it about the Mentor Her campaign. So, what what effect has this had, and has it actually filtered down to grassroots level yet, or is it still pretty new to the whole scene?
So, as somebody, this is a bit of role reversal here. Sarah Fryer, who is obviously one of the biggest women in tech worldwide, is also an investor in my company. So, having her as somebody that's mentored me really just shows that, you know what, gender doesn't come into it. It's just you work hard, you do well, and things just come. So careers come. Has sort of inspired me to, whenever we're interviewing, gender doesn't come into it. Gender does not come into it whatsoever. It's just who is the best qualified for the job. And we actually recruited last year for a replacement for a marketing executive within the company, and there wasn't a man that I would employ. So I think, actually just answering my own question, I think maybe marketing's doing quite a good job at boosting the number of women in tech. As I said whenever I gave my intro, I don't think mentoring needs to be something that's formal. I think it needs to be very informal, because if I was to sit down with Rachel or any of the girls in our office and say, right, this is a mentoring session, what do you want to talk about? It would be, number one, intimidating, and number two, they wouldn't open up, they wouldn't have the discussion with me. But whenever we go out, so obviously we're Northern Irish, we like to drink. So if we're out for drinks, if we go out for lunch, I feel like that's a good setting to allow the girls in the office to open up. We've had some really good heart-to-heart conversations about personal stuff. We've had really good heart-to-hearts about how they want their careers to progress and how I can help them progress their careers. So, who is it that I could put them in touch with? Who is it that I could get them to have a chat with? Rachel and I went through hell last year. We were on Techstars, and if anybody doesn't know what Techstars is, it's an accelerator, global accelerator. 1,000 founders who went through it, and they pride themselves on, I think it was 7 out of the 12 companies last year were founded by women. So that obviously inspired me, as well as, like, Rachel became my co-founder last year, and that was nothing to do with Rachel's a woman. This was because Rachel just kicks ass day in and day out. Like, I will openly say that Rachel is the smartest person that I've ever met, and you know, you always hire better than yourself. So I think it's just having that positive representation out there. So the likes of Sarah Fryer, the likes of all of the work that these women are doing up here, I think that does more than anything else. So yeah, I think that's what I've certainly seen.
So the Mentor Her campaign is quite new, but I've been doing leadership development for women and men for many years, and mentoring has always been a crucial part of it. And I think it's exactly what you were saying there, Aaron, that we can get, women especially, we get a bit hung up on the formal bit. Oh, I'm scared to go and ask for somebody to be my mentor. But it is just about grabbing a coffee with somebody and asking a bit of advice and building relationships. I think it can only be a good thing that we are encouraging more men to get involved in doing that cross-gender mentoring, just as more women should be mentoring men, because I think we've all got a lot of skills to cross over with.